Do you have a long commute to work and are looking for a phone mount that'll keep your phones nice and sturdy in your car? Well, this video's for you, because today we're testing cheap versus expensive phone mounts. First, we're going to test how strong the suction cups are in each phone mount, and both seem like they're not going anywhere. Now to test the mobility. The expensive option has a nice range of motion and a good swivel. Cheap option does seem to have a very similar range of motion, but it can be pushed and pulled towards you. Now to test how well the mount will grip onto your phone. And right away you can see that the expensive mount has a very tough time holding on the heavy phone with the magnet. And for the cheap option, because it has hands to grip onto the phone, it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. Just for you guys' reference, for these tests we used 2 iPhone 12 Pro Maxes. And lastly, we went on a little drive to simulate some real car movements. And you could see the expensive mount could not hold the phone. So in the end, after comparing the 2 phone mounts, it comes down to the price comparison. The expensive option is going to run you around $20, while the cheap option is going to run you just above $10.
And cheap wins!
If you've ever had bad breath and really needed gum, then this video's for you. Because today we're testing cheap versus expensive gums. For our cheap option, we have Trident White Peppermint. And for our expensive option, we have Mastica. You can see they're both pretty much about the same size. Now to test out the gum. He chewed both pieces of gum for about 10 minutes each to see how well the flavor and consistency held up. He could instantly tell that the expensive gum was a little harder to chew, but that could help strengthen jaw muscles. The Trident gum's flavor didn't last for more than about 7-8 minutes, while the expensive definitely stuck around past the 10-minute mark. Although these gums are not bubble gum, we felt like it would be right to do a bubble test. So overall, if you really just want a pack of gum to help with your bad breath, then the cheaper option will do just right. But if you're curious for how the expensive tastes, try it out. And cheap wins! We're testing cheap versus expensive paint roller cleaners.
Expensive one!
If you're looking for a big heavy-duty shop vacuum, then this video's for you. Because today we're testing cheap versus expensive shop vacs, part 2. Since the first version of this video had a lot of people saying that we didn't control the test well enough, here's a second attempt of really trying. Because the expensive vacuum is a lot bigger, we had to come up with a better idea. So we found 2 of the largest glasses we could and really tried to control the speed of which the vacuums go into the water. And it seems like for these tests, no matter what, the expensive vacuum is going to take the victory.
After the test, expensive one again. But if you guys want to check out the cheap vacuum, it still works.
Have you ever caught you or another guy in your life smelling really bad and in need of a good cologne? Well, today's your lucky day. We're testing cheap versus expensive colognes. We put 10 sprays of cologne into each glass and then lit them on fire. This test is to see which cologne has a higher percentage of alcohol. Usually colognes with higher percentages of alcohol don't last as long and don't smell as good. So obviously both colognes have percentages of alcohol, but the glass with the expensive cologne had the invisible flame go out a lot sooner.
And expensive wins!
Are you back in school and looking for the best backpack you can find? Well, today we're testing cheap versus expensive backpacks. First, we went through and counted up all the pockets to see how many individual compartments there were. On the expensive backpack, we counted up 17 pockets. For the cheap backpack, we were able to count up 9 pockets. Now for a waterproof test. After pouring a decent amount of water on both backpacks, here were the results. The cheap backpack had no visible water marking, while the expensive did have a slightly visible water stain on the front. Now let's test the comfortability. The expensive backpack did have really nice comfortable cushions on the shoulder straps and on the back. Then we added 25-pound weights to see what it was like with some weight. The expensive backpack made the 25-pound weight very bearable. Both backpacks also come with attached chargers. And now for the cheap backpack. It felt alright, but definitely did not have as much cushion as the expensive backpack. Adding the extra weight on the cheap backpack made it harder to bear. It definitely puts more pressure on your shoulders and your traps. So overall, after all the testing, I would definitely choose the backpack with better cushion.
And expensive wins! Cheap versus expensive, mineral water.
So to test the mineral waters, we wanted to see which one could produce more gas. You can see the cheap options balloon is inflating a lot more. After another minute or so, here were the results. So at the end of the day, it is all up to preference of which one you would rather prefer. I don't think it's too good to have too much carbonation in your drinks, so expensive wins.